Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and thank you for whoever's listening. This is our fourth, I think, digital conference, and I must say I'm having a better time each time. And to see the solutions, the platforms that have been out there to do this, it's pretty great. So hi, everyone. I'm Omri. I'm the CMO and also co-founder of Zoomed. Zoomed, whoever doesn't know, is a company we founded in 2012. We're a public company since 2019. And our main business is a platform for user acquisition. We're integrated to more than 600 media sources, streaming the info and the data from all these sources into one dashboard. Gives you the ability to manage all user acquisition under one screen. So that's me. Let's start and let's enjoy this session, everyone. So I don't know what's your favorite emoji these days and after what's going on, but I'm sure that for all of us in the last few months, we changed our emojis. If you will see the recent ones, so I'm sure for each one of us they changed. I hope everyone's safe and at home. If not at home, I hope you're okay wherever you are. But I think that COVID and everything that's going on in the world showed us and taught us that we need to be agile. As app marketers, I think it even gives it an extra boost. As an app marketer, we could have seen that since December, even January, the global market of app marketing has really changed and is really, really dynamic. In this session, I'm going to talk about 2020 and looking forward. What are the new building blocks that a user acquisition manager needs? It's a lot more than CPI or ROAS or ROI. It's basic building blocks that today, these days, that a user acquisition manager has under his title. He needs to take care of it, and needs also to take in consideration when he's doing his job. So being agile, we can see here, this is a great report, AppsFire. I love their data. They're doing great work. And they released COVID-19 data. They're updating it all the time. What we can see here is a graph for Germany, and it talks about weekly percentage of app install ad spend in Germany. The black line that you're seeing here is the confirmed new cases in Germany. So actually my point is in this slide and in the next one also, is that if you're dynamic and you're agile, you could really boost and succeed in during COVID. We have a lot of type of customers, let's take from the fitness area, from the education area. At the moment we noticed that COVID is entering Europe after what happened in Asia, and now it's in Latin America, a smart user acquisition manager can take advantage of it. You can see here in this slide, non-gaming apps, it goes in all the budgets. They grow and they go down. They decrease by the confirmed new cases. You can see here the green one, the non-gaming apps, really jumped when Germany started getting hit by COVID in the beginning of March. And they started to get down when the new infections get down. My point is, if you're agile and smart, you could really succeed in Germany in this case. Let's take China for an example. So China was the first country regarding COVID. We all know that. But look what's going on in China since February. So the new confirmed cases has gone down until zero almost in May. But you see the budgets also, how they're going down. Now this is actually can be expected for every geo that's getting hit by COVID. We can see a very big boost of ad spend in relevant apps when COVID enters that area. And then when it starts to slow down, we see the ad spend go down. As a campaign manager and user acquisition manager, it's very important info for you to take in consideration. At the end of the day, you have to be dynamic and be agile. Plans always are there, but a lot of times can be changed. You need to identify opportunities, even though it's talking about bad situations, and to be very fast and active regarding your competition, because then you can have a real plus on them. And you need to predict, you need to experiment. At the end of the day, that's the way to succeed. If you won't do that, you'll never succeed. Second thing I would like to talk about today, the second building block, transparency. So the whole industry has been talking transparency. It's not something new. We all know that. Transparency regarding media sources. I'll talk a bit later about the next slides about ad fraud, but transparency is a very big issue. Not all platforms today support transparency, but if you as a marketer or as a user acquisition manager, you're running campaigns, regardless of the number of sources, if it's ad networks or if it's the social giants, if it's Facebook or Google, you want to know where your ads are. Also brand safety, but also because of fraud. Now, it's not always available, I must say. A lot of platforms and networks do not show you that. But on your side, as a user acquisition manager, try to ask. If the platform supports it, great, you'll enjoy it. If not, maybe they can give it to you. You need to know where your money's going. You need to know who's that sub-publisher showing that ad and if the ad was even shown. It fights ad fraud. That's something very important that we all take into consideration fraud. And then if they gives you data that prior to transparency, you never know where those ads were running. At the end of the day, you can collect a lot of priceless data when running in transparency mode. So to summarize this point, try to get from your supplier, if it's an agency or if it's a platform, try working on transparency. This is something very important. Again, it's not new, but it's a very important building block. Third thing, and again, nothing new here, ad fraud. Well, ad fraud today, this is a great slide by Scholar, an ad fraud solution that I found. In 2019, mobile ad fraud was almost $13 billion. It's crazy when you think of it. Looking forward, you see the numbers. We're all suffering from ad fraud. It's not something new. It's been with us for a long time. Whoever's in the business for a long time knows about it. There are a lot of tools. You need to identify it. You can work with third-party solutions. You can identify it based on your KPIs that you set. And you can identify manually with any manual analysis you do. In most time, a lot of times from our consider what we know, also in that fraud, a lot of times there's a needle in the haystack. And my point here is you need to understand that fraud is part of the industry. Okay, it cannot hurt your experiment of how and where to run. We have here a poll. Okay, be happy if you could answer the poll. But ad fraud actually today is very big. But I'm seeing a lot of user acquisition managers last year they work with us also, regardless to us, that they understand fraud is there. Again, been there for a long time, and they work with fraud. It's not that they stop working because of fraud, and that's my point here. You need to understand fraud is part of the business. When you want to get more users and more channels, take in consideration fraud. Always try and get deducted. I can tell you that on our side, we have tons of deduction reports running each month because, again, that's how the business is. But you can get deducted and try to get deducted. No reason for you to pay for fraud. I love this picture. I think this is the best slide in my presentation. And the point is here, always keep trying. When I say trying, it's not trying the same task, but you always need to experiment. You always need to try. If you're a user acquisition manager, you cannot rely only on the duopoly of Google and Facebook. They're great. I mean, nothing bad about them. They rule the world, but there's so much out there that is more than Google and Facebook. There's so many channels for you as a user acquisition manager to find them. If it's ad networks, if operators, if it's SDK networks, if it's different media channels, everything. And it's so important today for user acquisition manager just to keep on trying new channels, new geos, new formats, new audiences. If you will not do that, okay, I think on my side, you're not doing your job as you need, okay? User acquisition manager has to be all the time and then consistent find for new channels where he could find the users. It's okay to fail. My belief is that if you don't fail, you'll never succeed. But don't be afraid to fail, because if you will be afraid to fail, you won't succeed at all. And you just have to keep on looking all the time for sources. I must say, that's the concept of our platform. We're integrated today to more than 600 sources under it. That's the main concept. So for user acquisition manager, this building block, keep on trying all the time. Try new sources, new places for you to run your campaigns. Last point, brandformance. It's a word that we've been using for the last, 3 years, a lot of times with our customers, and also for ourselves as a brand. In the past, user acquisition managers, the only thing they cared or they looked for is a CPA, CPI, and that is very important, maybe the most important for your job. But these days today, with all technology out there, we really believe in this method in brandformance. When I say brandformance, is going a bit wider, upper in the funnel on pure branding / awareness campaign that has only one purpose, to help you in the second phase of the funnel, okay, for harvesting those users for quality, high quality user acquisition. Now, I'm not saying a user acquisition manager is also a brand manager. That's not what I'm saying. And the user acquisition manager does not need to run branding. But if you take into consideration when you run your user acquisition campaign, take in consideration for the first phase to run a bit, regardless if it's time or budget, to run wider. Try to identify the audience that is most engaging. That audience, after that, you can start harvesting them as users. And our belief is you need to build a digital touch point for the journey of the user. When I say that, that means you need to know if he saw your branding campaign or video, what's the percentage of how much he saw it, what's the completion view, and based on that, you know what ad to give him in order to download and register to your app. So the brand formats is something we really believe in as part of the company and service we give to our customers. That was my last slide, actually. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll be happy to answer any question regarding user acquisition, regarding the presentation, or anything else you have here. Well, I have your poll also. One moment, I'll run it here. I'll be happy to know how much you guys, let's see, did I did it? How much, one moment, yeah. Is it running? Yeah. Just to understand how many sources you guys run. When you do user acquisition for your new app or your current app or any other asset, how many channels do you run on? Okay, it's very interesting to see. Oh, very interactive and nice. Thanks for answering. I'd love all of you to answer. And I think you cannot stop running a lot of channels if you're afraid to fail. I mean, it won't work that way. You have to run as many as possible. And again, it's okay to fail. That's how all of us do. I'll answer here a question.
Yeah, there is the one question in the Q&A. The topic was about how UA changed, but actually it isn't. Is this the answer?
UA has changed regarding what you need as requirements as a user acquisition manager. If in the past it was only to analyze reports and ROI and KPI, so today a user acquisition manager needs to understand their brandformance, needs to understand, take in consideration fraud, needs to be agile. It's all kinds of things in the past. The user acquisition manager didn't really take into consideration when he started or when he's doing his job. Re-engagement and remarketing, it's a lot bigger and wider than user acquisition. And that's why user acquisition has changed throughout the years. And I'm sure that if we're looking forward, it will change even more. And it's very important to know that, when you run your campaigns. So that's the answer for that. If you have any other questions, or you want to...
We have 2 more minutes, so I think one more question can be answered. So guys, don't be shy and ask questions.
Please do, guys. And if you feel shy, you can come to our booth. We have a virtual booth. Everything's there. You have here also the handouts where you can download some of our materials. And we build and we live based on these concepts there that in this presentation. We understand throughout the years this is needed today in order to succeed for user acquisition campaigns.
Oh, there is one question. What do you think about influencers as a media source?
First, I love the question. I think influencers are important. In the last few years, they jumped in the mix of our marketing budgets. They're important. I think they can work. But there's also a lot of fraud there, as I said before about fraud. And that's exactly an example of a channel. You have to try it. Flunk, okay, then try another influencer channel. Influencers in general work. You need to find the best influencers for you, for each geo, based on your objectives. And I'm sure that influencers will work also for you, as long as you know to measure them, of course. So that's the answer to that. Really try as a new channel, running also there everywhere.
Perfect. Thank you very much for the insightful presentation. And we are getting close to the lunch, and then we will continue after that. Thank you, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.